Hi guys, it's Erica. I just wanted to talk a little bit about GLP weight loss. Everybody knows that GLP, when you take it, makes you not hungry, but the important factor I think that people don't talk about is what happens to you psychologically. So let's rewind. A little over a year ago, I was visiting my doctor, and my doctor did my annual blood test, and she informed me that not only was I on the highest blood pressure amount that I needed, and not only was I obese, which I knew, but I also now was pre-diabetic. My blood sugar was too high. That was the turning point for me, and I decided to change my life. Now, I had tried pretty much every diet under the sun. I had done the carnivore diet, I had done intermittent fasting, I had done regular fasting. You name it, I tried it. And they always worked. But when I went back to my regular way of eating, of course, I would eventually gain the weight right back. So a friend of mine was actually going on GLP and was experiencing such great results that I decided to try it. So I ordered from a compound pharmacy at first. Now I don't do that anymore. I actually go directly to a peptide company and mix it myself to save a lot of money. But that was how I started it. And I think it cost me like $900 to get started. And I took it, and of course I experienced what everybody did, which is I just wasn't hungry. In fact, it was a struggle for me to put food in my mouth at all. I was very thirsty though. And I basically focused on protein shakes and whatever I could to get my at least 100 grams of protein in the day because I didn't want to lose muscle. But the real change for me came when I started noticing the psychological effect of the GLP, which was it allowed me to step out of my pattern of being, which was to constantly be thinking about food all of my life. I would, plan my life around food. My next night out with my friends for dinner, what I was going to make for dinner, what I was going to cook for the kids, what was I going to buy at the store. I didn't realize how much of my life actually was spent planning around food and thinking about food. So with the GLP, I literally stopped thinking about food, and that gave me a psychological break. I did start having cravings a couple months in, and I craved weird things like apples and Gouda. Like, I never craved something like that before in my life. It was always more like the processed stuff, or I was just making the wrong food choices. And I was reaching for food when I felt emotionally compromised. A lot of us emotionally eat, and I was definitely doing that. Food had become kind of a go-to for me when I needed to have a little bit of happiness or a reward, or I needed to get out of my head because I was thinking about my life and my divorce or whatever was going on at the moment. I would reach for food. And I wasn't down on like a pint of ice cream or anything like that, but I was definitely eating the wrong things and too much. Well, I began to reprogram the way that I looked at food, and there was a definite effort for myself when I realized the psychological connection. One of the big things I did for myself was not deny myself anymore. So I think when we're overweight, we start to think, and we think like fat people, right? Because we're always thinking, I need to lose weight, and there's that psychological manifestation process that goes on that's telling us in the back of our mind that we're fat. And as we know, we can program our mind. So if we are constantly feeling like we're fat deep inside or denying ourselves things, it kind of carries over into the way that we live our life and the way that we think, and therefore, what we think we become, right? So let me tell you, if I want a pizza, burger, ice cream, whatever it is, I don't deny myself. But the rest of the time, it's very easy to just be healthy because I'm just not hungry. And when I do eat, I'm eating a lot smaller amounts. There's so much negative media out there right now, like, oh, these people lost weight, they've got Ozempic face. Naturally, anything that you put in your body is going to have an effect on it. You want to find out the pros and cons, and you want to be smart. But it is very effective, and I will tell you, do not be afraid. If you have been afraid to try it, but you have struggled with everything to lose weight, try it. It will change your life. It will change the way that you look at food. It will allow you to reprogram the way that you think about food, the way that you eat, and the way that you live in such a way that you will look like a different person in 1 year's time. Take it from me. Hi guys, I'm home now, so I would be remiss if I didn't talk about side effects. So you're definitely going to have some side effects, one of which is going to be electrolyte depletion. That was the biggest one for me. I noticed that not only was I constantly thirsty, but I was craving like potassium and magnesium. My legs would get cramps, especially when I would go to bed at night. I would get restless legs, and I was able to fix that by just getting myself a good quart-sized glass water bottle, and I constantly had it filled with water, and I would put like Celtic sea salt in there or flavored electrolyte powders, and I would just drink that all day long.
Also a nice magnesium or potassium, both a supplement, like a mineral supplement. The other thing is you want to make sure that you're not eating too close to bedtime. For example, if you go to bed at like 9 o'clock, make your last meal like 5 or 6 o'clock so you have time to digest it, because the whole way that this thing works, or part of the way, is it slows your digestive mechanism. So anything that you put in your tummy before bed is going to sit there all night and make you uncomfortable. If you do need a snack before you go to bed, make sure it's something light like soup or yogurt or something that's really easily digested. Once again, my name is Erica. I'm 55 years old and I've lost over 50 pounds in the last year using a combination of GLP and other peptides and just lifestyle hacks. So follow me if you'd like to find out more, and if you have any questions, shoot it in the comments or DM me and I will get back to you.